Welcome to Worthington Home. I'm Chris. Eric and I just started a new estate clean out, and that's been going on in New Britain. The house is immaculately clean. The resident is has now moved to assisted living because she just couldn't really safely live at home anymore. She's doing well, and she had a really beautiful two-family home. So she took what she wanted. Nobody else wants anything else, and our job is to figure out what to do with the rest. So as usual, we have lots of plans for dispersing her belongings so that things can get a second lease on life. We can make a little profit, and hopefully some cool old stuff can live on to the next generation. So here we are at the two-family house. I'm really eager to get a sense of this house. Eric described it to me, but that's definitely not the same as seeing it for myself. So this is my first look. And here we are in a very informal entryway. There's Eric, and here's the one-car garage. It's pretty much broom clean and in good condition, so not much to do in that room. A little bit of patio furniture. Out that door is the backyard. I like the brickwork in this space. And now we'll go inside. Up these stairs is the second floor apartment, and this is the main living space. So this is the kitchen, and most of the contents of the kitchen were already removed before we got here, so not a ton of stuff in this space. I can't tell you how cute this kitchen is and how much it reminds me of my grandparents' kitchen, except this floor is the exact one I had in my childhood home growing up. So I'm having a lot of strong nostalgic memories in this space. And of course, there's some interesting wallpaper happening. And here is the dining room. And we have a dining room table. And this cabinet is going to go home with us, actually. We have some plans for it in our own home. There's a really nice sideboard here, too big for our dining room, but hopefully somebody can use it. And then we'll keep going into the living room space. You can see some of the furniture has already been moved around a little bit. There's a fireplace behind this gate leg table, and some furniture that was nice in its day but has been badly scratched, probably by a cat. Boy, do I know what that's like. It's a little desk here in the corner. Very cute, an old Governor Winthrop desk. It needs some repair. You can see when I pull it down, there's like a hinge that's loose. That should be a relatively easy fix. And there's this wall shelf, always handy for some extra display space. And yeah, sofa, coffee table, the usual kind of setup. Unfortunately, that sofa has also been destroyed, probably by a cat. These lamps are really great. There's a lot of cool vintage lighting in this house. Nothing that is super valuable, but definitely worth saving, and hopefully we can find someone who will really enjoy it. Just down this hallway, we come to a room that I think was used as a little study room. There's this secretary piece and a little cute bench and a telephone table. There's a bathroom and then a bedroom. This furniture is really interesting. It's from like the 1930s/40s. And it has some interesting lines. Here's like a vanity table with a mirror and a chair. And that headboard's really fun. The metallic wallpaper is quite a lot. And here is a hope chest, Lane hope chest. Yep, it's got that strong cedar closet smell. And here's another bedroom with the same kind of furniture in it. So we're gonna have to see if we can get this furniture to somebody who will appreciate it or somebody who wants to sell it. Closets are empty. Not a lot of stuff in this house. It was pretty clean when we got here, and that makes our job a lot easier. There's some pretty vanity table pieces here that I'll have to look at a bit more closely. And here's just a little peek at the outside. The backyard's not huge, but it's very pretty, and it's right next to a stream. So cute property. We'll go back where we came from so I can just check out some other stuff. Good morning. It's another beautiful day. I'm heading out to the estate. Eric has some people coming to help with some of the removal of furniture. We're gonna fill a U-Haul with things that are going to the dump, and then he's gonna turn the U-Haul back around and we're gonna pick up any furniture we're gonna sell as part of the estate sale online. So, a couple of different layers of the day today. I'm hoping to do a lot of photographing, a lot of cataloging. I'll enter everything into the computer software system when I get home. But oh my gosh, if I can make this auction go live by tomorrow, that would be my ideal. So we'll see how it goes. I just wanted to show you how pretty the house looks this morning. It really is adorable, and it seems so small, but it's not. It's a great size. As I mentioned before, my job today is to prepare for the online estate sale, while Eric really focuses on the clean out itself. I've set up a little photography station in the dining room. I'm bringing out each piece, photographing it, measuring it, and taking down a few notes so I can enter everything into the software system when I get home. We're really hoping to make this estate sale go live within a day or two, so hopefully it works out that way. I thought I'd show you how the U-Haul is coming along. Eric and Andrew are filling it with furniture that's too broken or damaged to be able to pass on to somebody else one way or another. Not too much stuff for this clean out, which is a good thing. Like I said, just really damaged pieces will go in here today. Andrew, give us a wave. This little cookbook right here on Jell-O salad makes this entire experience worth my while. I cannot wait to dig into this sucker. Check it out. You can look up what kind of meal you're making for dinner, and then you spin this little insert and it will give you suggestions for what kind of Jell-O salad would go with it. Like tomato aspic, which sounds disgusting, or tangy tomato mold, which I also don't want to have for dinner. This is a riot. I could play with this thing all day. It was definitely a very long day, but the job is done. This house is cleaned out. The estate sale will be ready to go when I get home. I'm not even gonna deal with it tonight, actually. I'm gonna wait until tomorrow because I am bone tired. I'm really pleased with the job we did. Eric and Andrew, our nephew, hustled so hard today. I did a lot of work myself. All I want to do now is get a bite to eat, take a long hot shower, and relax in front of the television. I think we earned it. So this seems like a good time to give you a little update on how the estate clean out has been going. First of all, I have to tell you, it has been completely different from the last two that we did. And Eric always says, you know, no two estate clean outs are alike. This is only the third one I've ever done. So I'm definitely finding that to be true though, based on my much more limited experience. The woman that lived there was the second generation of her family to live there. So there was some furniture there as early as the 1930s. And then furniture went up until primarily like the 1980s. So it was an interesting kind of collection and representation of all of the different eras that fell within those years. The woman just recently left. She made a decision that she didn't want to live alone anymore. She was able to take care of herself. From what I understand, she just didn't want to live alone anymore. So she opted to go to assisted living. She was in her 90s. And she has family, she has direct descendants, but apparently her children are in their 70s and they just didn't really want too many things. So there was a good bit of stuff to disperse, but like, I don't know. You get a sense of people when you go through their house. I feel like this woman was like just kind of a no nonsense. Like she'd buy one set of china and that was her china. She'd buy a sofa, that was her sofa. This reminds me very much of like sort of the Yankee mentality of my people. So I felt kind of a kinship to her. What happened to me, I could not tell you, you know. Like the chances of me buying and owning one set of china are 0. But I still admire, respect, and to some extent relate to that way of living and being, you know, kind of frugal, kind of thoughtful and making things last. This woman took excellent care of her things. And so they've lasted a lot longer than you'd think they would. And so it was our job then, of course, to figure out where everything goes. So when I think of an estate clean out, I sort of think about it as moving forward in like waves. There's like waves that occur. So first, you know, you go in and you assess the property and you figure out like how much are you going to charge, and you get all of that business out of the way, right? That's the first wave. Then there's the second wave. That is like the Eric wave. And that is the wave where Eric, who is great at this, just assesses everything. He walks through the house. He's really thinking in his head, like he's doing the move out in his head before he ever touches a single object. He is able to calculate in his head in a way that I can't, and I don't think I ever could. Is he gonna need a dumpster? Is he gonna need a U-Haul? Can he use his dad's van? Can he use his truck? How much labor is he gonna need? How much is that likely to cost per hour? Who's he gonna ask to help him with that? How many garbage bags does he need? I mean, it's unbelievable. He does all of this in his head. It's like, you could see the smoke, right? Streaming out of his ears. And I don't talk to him when he's doing that. Like, he's in the zone. He's figuring out all that stuff. And then you can almost hear it like go ka-ching, like the cash register drawer pops out. He's done. He's kind of figured it out. He's got his plan of attack. And even though I know like he'll continue to ruminate on that for hours and maybe even for days before we get started, like that is his first initial, like he's the general and he's surveying the battlefield and he's getting the cavalry in one side. And you know what I mean? He's figuring it out. So that's like in so many ways, the most important wave is that sort of plan of attack analysis wave that is pure Eric. Okay, so then the next wave is actually getting started. And this is where, again, Eric is really good. And I tend to be a little bit like a deer in the headlights initially. Like, I'm never like really quite sure like where to start. And I kind of wander around like uselessly for a few minutes until Eric sort of like goes, you know, go here. And then I get started with the task. And once I get started, like then I'm good. It's like that initiation. My initial feelings are always like overwhelmed, I guess. No matter how big or small, it's that getting started. So I rely on him to kind of get me started. And then once I do, I'm good. So in this sale, one of the main things was for me to make decisions about what was going where. So what I meant by that was, what might Eric and I want to keep personally, like the china cabinet behind me, which belonged to that estate. And we knew that we wanted, because we knew that would serve our purposes so well in our own home. So we knew that was coming home with us. There were a few things that we knew we were going to keep. There were a few little pieces of Limoges that I wanted and a few other like kind of smaller things. So there's that question, do we want to keep anything? Then there's the question of like, what might be served by eBay? Like what were some good individual pieces that are shippable, that might be interesting to people that we can sell on eBay? So there was a little bit of that. Then we decided that we were going to try to offload a lot of the really big furniture and some other pieces through clearinghouse estate sales. So this would be our second online auction. And, you know, here's the thinking behind that, because a lot of the furniture was like from the 1930s, early 40s, and that furniture style is hard to sell. And of course, we're not antiques dealers in that we don't have a store that we can, you know, fill with furniture and then people will gradually come by and buy things or not. You know, we've got to move stuff. We don't have a warehouse. Boy, do we need a warehouse. We don't have a warehouse. We have some spaces in our house. Our house is getting more cluttery than either of us are very comfortable with. We try really hard to contain it and to move things along. But the bottom line was, Eric's feeling was, even if somebody only pays $1 for like a piece of this 1930s, early 40s furniture, then that's furniture he's not bringing to the dump. And it's really good for him to not go to the dump because first of all, like who wants to go to the dump? Second of all, he's got to pay to bring that stuff to the dump. And third of all, it just kills us. It kills us both and probably kills me more to discard good, usable, interesting, old furniture that maybe somebody could appreciate. And if that somebody's only willing to pay $1 for it, God bless them, take it and find some use for it. So that's why we decided to list so much of that furniture, not because we thought it was gonna make us a fortune, but because we thought that was the best way to maybe get it in the hands of somebody who would appreciate it, who would not have to bring it to the dump where it doesn't belong. So I ended up listing, I think I ended up listing exactly 100 things on the estate sale, the online estate sale, and that will come to a close, I think on Tuesday night. So it will have closed by the time this video posts. So we'll see how it does. And we added a few other things from other estates to it. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna make $1 million or anything, but like I said, if we can just prevent some of that stuff from going to a landfill, we'll feel pretty successful. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hours to like catalog everything. That's what I do. I photograph it, I catalog it, I put it on the website. And even though the software system, and even though the software system is easy to use, it's still a lot of hours of my time. So I hope we get something out of it. We'll certainly see, and I will definitely let you know. So after that sort of wave goes by, then we look to see what might be useful at Eric's dad's store. So Eric's dad owns Whatnot Shop in New Britain, and his clientele there is largely people who are kind of passing through, you know, people who have apartments, usually in New Britain, and they may have come here from other countries or from other apartments, but they tend to be folks on the move. So they're not people that want to acquire a lot of like heavy, expensive furniture. They're looking for usable secondhand stuff for really low prices that they can use for a time and then either bring with them or throw away or just leave in place. And so they're always looking for things like a little side table, a usable lamp, a small kitchen table, stuff that can be carried up maybe flights of stairs into an apartment building, and a microwave, a coffee maker, like all of those really sort of basic things. And Eric's dad, because he owns the store, can sell those things really inexpensively. So it's a great place for people, like I said, people on the move who don't have a lot of money, but want certain kinds of things in their household. They can pick up stuff and use it, and they're grateful to have it. And he's really happy to have the sales. So he goes through in his wave and he takes all of that kind of stuff and he brings that to his store. Then there's the donation pile. We did not end up, I don't think we ended up donating anything at this estate. No, I don't think we did, because again, there's something breaking. I just know it. Okay, this is funny. There is a fly in the sunroom where the cats mostly hang out, and they love flying insects. They love to chase them around and catch them and then let them go, and they fly around and then they leap through the air. It's like this whole acrobatic thing they do when they find flying insects. So they found one and they're making a whole lot of noise, like jumping off furniture and doing all this stuff, trying to, I don't catch, eat, torture, I don't know. I'm glad I'm not that fly. I'll tell you. Licorish's problem is that Eric is working on doing some repairs to the sidewalk right outside the window where I'm filming. And so every now and then he moves from like a crouched position to a standing position. And when Licorice like sees him suddenly appear, her instinct is just to like protect me and bark her head off, which isn't her most delightful quality, but she feels compelled to do it. And I love my dog, so it's all fine. Licorice would just like to say hello and apparently lick my hand nonstop. She's a good girl, but while I've been filming this, she's been doing her tap dancing thing. She's been doing her thing where she tries to bump the tripod. So she's full of vim and vigor this afternoon. She's my good girl. Okay, we're gonna try to get through this video without watching me have a nervous breakdown. So that's usually the next kind of wave that goes through. And the final wave that goes through, which is the wave we try to most avoid, is stuff that just goes to the dump. There wasn't, again, not much stuff going to the dump. And I think that we've gotten a lot better about really keeping that to the barest minimum. I hate to send stuff to the dump if there's any other place that it could possibly be. So not much stuff, really just pure garbage, you know, stuff that was just broken, some paperwork that was just junk. Yeah, not much at all. So those are just like the various waves of things as we go through. And once all of those waves are complete, then we're done. And Eric gives the keys to whomever is in charge of the estate. And that person does that final like walkthrough just to make sure all is as it should be. And it was. He was very appreciative. This was, I think, a lawyer. Pretty sure this was a lawyer. Not sure. Eric dealt with this particular person. Must have been a lawyer. I don't know. No, maybe it was a real estate agent. It was a real estate agent because the house had sold, and so they needed to clean it out. House sold for you know, not a ton of money given how adorable it was. What a cute house. I mean, it will need all new rugs, and there's just some pretty groovy wallpaper that probably somebody would want to change. Cute little neighborhood. It was near a school. Adorable. Hopefully a family or an individual or a group of individuals or whomever will move in and enjoy it and live a long and happy life there. So I thought I would show you some highlights of some of the things that came out of the house that were particularly interesting to me or noteworthy, things that I think will just give you a flavor for the home that we were in and that we'd been working in, just so you can check it out in case you're interested. So let's do that now. Well, you know me, I love porcelain, so of course my heart went out to this Flint Ridge china. This is the San Marino pattern and it's made in California. I love the gray, I love the gold tones, I love the flower pattern. It's so pretty. I was very tempted to try to sell this on eBay, but I just couldn't bear to break up the set. So this has all been listed together. So the dinner set has gone as one lot, the teapot and teacups and that whole set is going as a second lot. So people don't have to buy the full collection if they don't want to, but the set still generally stays intact. I also really enjoyed all of the 1930s / early 40s furniture. It's not generally a big seller in this day and age, but they really were interesting pieces. There were 2 full furniture suites full of this, and although I'm only showing you the 2 pieces, I thought they were really interesting and unique, and I hope somebody really falls in love with them. There were some mid-century modern pieces that were really interesting, and again, just 2 selections to share with you. I really liked this stool with the splayed metal legs and the vinyl cover. I thought it had a great presence. And I also really love this cabinet piece that you could really use for just about anything. Shifting gears pretty dramatically, I loved this Victorian marble top table. It was in excellent condition. I wish so much that I had room for it somewhere in my house. I definitely don't. This metal trash can is so great. I love the colors, I love the pattern, I think it's a lot of fun. And you know, if you've got to have trash that you're throwing out, you might as well throw it out in something beautiful, right? I thought this hanging wall clock was pretty groovy and definitely has some interesting style to it. And as of right now, just so you know, the big seller, I mean the standout by far, is this kitchen table set with the drop leaves. Here it is dropped, and here's another picture when it's fully extended. It has 4 chairs that go with it and 2 leaves actually, so it can get quite big. And I didn't anticipate the huge interest in it that has actually materialized, so I'm hoping this goes for some good dollars. We'll see. I thought I would show you this interesting bill that we found crumpled up in the back of a drawer somewhere. It's a silver certificate dollar bill, and it's over 100 years old. And back in the day, the holder of this kind of bill could redeem it for actual silver without having to directly buy the silver. This is no longer the case, of course, but it's interesting. And these bills are considered to be collectible today. This one, of course, is in terrible shape, so it's really not valuable at all, but it's still interesting to have. And I thought it would be fun to show you this bill next to just a modern day dollar bill so you can see the differences. Well, of course, my favorite thing from this clean out was this excellent china cabinet. This really met our current needs in so many ways, so we were really happy to have this piece. There's just some stuff behind it that's got to be put away once our closet is finished being renovated, but it really is awesome and keeps stuff safe from the cats, and now I can see all of my Limoges and really enjoy it. The only current downside is that the doors don't open and close very easily, so at some point Eric's gonna have to take a look at it. It's okay because it's not like I'm going in and out of here on a daily basis. It's really primarily for display, but any way you look at it, this was a really good find. And yeah, it's nice when you can find these great things that you can use that have some age to them, and especially if they're free. Free's my favorite price. Here's another little piece that I picked up from the estate. It's just this little tiny bookshelf, and it's so great. Look, it has some pretty little details in it. And it's not huge, but it's just big enough to actually hold some of my cookbooks and recipe cards and a few little appliances and things. There's an antique medicine cabinet on top that I've had for years and years and years. But anyway, yeah, this was a great little piece to just pop into this corner, and it really kind of cleans up the area. I keep our Ryobi right to the left of it, and our Ryobi is fabulous. We have one upstairs and one downstairs to just kind of help keep some of the pet hair to a minimum. But I thought I would spare you the sight of the Ryobi and instead focus on this pretty bookshelf. I also intend to keep this cute little bench. Originally, I was gonna list it, and then I changed my mind at the last minute because I thought I could use it in our bedroom. We currently have a little bench underneath a window in our bedroom that I really like, but the upholstery isn't the right color, and I think it would look cute in the dining room. I can't bring myself to reupholster it. It had been my mother's. But this piece I could easily reupholster with a fabric that complements the bedroom colors once we're ready to redo the bedroom. So yeah, at the last minute, I didn't list it. It is in the barn along with everything else, but we will pull it out once we start to get everything ready for pickup, and this will come inside the house until I'm ready to reupholster it. I want to show you is this really sweet bell collection that had belonged to the owner. These are so cute. Look at the little train bell. Most of these bells have different countries or different places listed on them. That one is from Barcelona. This one says Italy. And this pretty kind of cloisonné style one doesn't have a name on it that I can see, but it definitely has a little bit of an Asian flair to it. It's very pretty. This yellow bell is really charming. It has a couple of, see those teeny tiny little nicks in them, but it is very sweet. And we intend to list these on eBay at some point. Excuse the mess in the library. And here's another part of the collection. So we will list these. We're not going to keep them. We might keep a couple of them. This one says congratulations on it. Very sweet. And this one is a little teapot with yellow flowers. We have a little house here. And I just want to show you this one. This one is, I think, my favorite. It's from Gstaad, and it has this beautiful little painted village on it. So yeah, these were really cute. We were excited to find these in a box, and I think someone will really enjoy them. Eric kindly took this footage of the barn so I could show you what it's looking like right now. You can see it is really full of things from this estate. And way behind it in that bubble of plastic, I don't know if you can see it, is Eric's car, which he would really like to drive once we can get rid of all of this stuff. So the auction closes tonight, pickup is a few days later, and then we'll have this space back to ourselves. Meanwhile, we're already preparing for our next online auction, and that means the house is in quite a state. So I've created a little photography area here in the dining room to make life easier on me. Here's all of the paper that things were wrapped in that I am now putting on an estate sale. You can see the furniture in the background in the library that's going to be featured. And every single thing on this dining room table needs to be listed and cataloged, along with the bins. Ugh, it's such a mess. The cats don't care. They're happily grooming their paws. But oh my gosh, am I really sick to death of this mess. It will be great when the next estate sale can come and I can reclaim my house. Look at the parlor. It's full of lamps. There's a food dehydrator. There's throw pillows from the 1960s. Oh my goodness, it's a lot. And then if we can make it through this room alive, we can go into the foyer. That is, as you may recall, under construction. So Eric has been working really hard on this space in between the estate cleanouts and the sidewalk repairs and all of the other interesting things in life. Take a look at those floors. Oh dear. I really can't wait to get this library back and get this bedroom furniture out of here.
Hey, Wilson. Hey, good boy, honey. Yeah. All right, let's keep this family friendly.
Now, in a radical shifting of gears, here's the next thing I want to show you. This is the sidewalk that Eric has been repairing. Over the years, it started to heave up a little bit and it was getting a little bit wonky. You can see here where he hasn't gotten to it yet, where there's some chipped bricks and some gaps and some unevenness that could cause a tripping hazard. And even spots where we get the occasional foliage growing out of the corners of the bricks. So Eric is working really hard, killing his knees, and making this whole area so much safer and more even. So he's doing an awesome job, and this will be much better as a result of his hard work. Look at that. Oh, I'm being beckoned. Let's go look. Let's see some of the finished work. He's hiding a part that he doesn't like, so you don't see it. Yeah, it's much better. Much better. Okay, this is truly the last thing I'm gonna show you. This is nothing short of a miracle. It's Iris and Wilson cuddled up, asleep on the kitchen floor. I never thought I would see the day that this happened. These two have not been fast friends. And in general, Wilson is not a dog who is accustomed to having cats really touch him or come up to him. Iris, you know, as we know, she's fearless and she does as she pleases. And I guess he decided to let her be. So this almost caused me to fall on the floor. Oh, and by the way, for those of you who are wondering about her ears and if they're better, my answer is, They start to get better, then she makes them worse, then they start to get better. I don't know. Overall, they're better than they were when I took her to the vet, but they're definitely not where I'd like them to be. So I'm going to follow up with my vet probably by the end of this week to see if we need to start eliminating certain ingredients from her diet. We'll see. Okay, so I think we got through this video without any major catastrophes. Phew, I think that fly actually did me a service. It's like my fly babysitter in the sunroom. But yes, yay, we got through it. Oh, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this estate clean out process. I know it's not the same as like a thrifting / haul video, but you know, it kind of gives you a sense of what goes on behind the scenes before you ever even get to a thrift store, right? Like what happens with these old things? What happens when someone has an estate? You know, where do these old objects go? Where do resellers like me get some of their inventory from? So it's a little peek behind the curtain, and I hope that that's of interest to you. If it isn't, don't worry, because I'll be back with another thrifting video. And in the meantime, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I hope you have a fantastic day. Oh, and like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much. Bye for now.